The first appearance of Supergirl. This is a $45,000 comic book. Wait, what? Hey there, comic book community. This is Jim from Bronzeville Comics coming to you with another video. And before we get started, please, if you enjoy the content on this channel, subscribe, give us a like, and leave a comment down below. We like to keep that conversation going after the videos are posted, and a lot of your feedback is really relevant. What we're going to talk today about is kind of a beginner's guide of how to determine the price of your comic book. And one of the things is, I showed this in the opening. This is a copy of Action Comics 252, the first appearance of Supergirl, and it would be worth $45,000 if it was in really high grade and it was graded by CGC, but this is a low grade raw copy. What's the difference, and how can you, if you find some comics that you think have value, how can you determine what their value is? Now, there's one very accessible, free tool that is available to anybody. And a lot of people in the comic book community use it to price their own books. And that is eBay Sold. So let's take a look. Actually, let's take a look at Action Comics 252 and see the prices on that. Now, what you don't want to do, you don't want to look at the current listings. So let's search up Action Comics 252. And you can see here we're starting off with some slabbed copies. So we have a book in a 2.5 selling for $1,300. Now that is the asking price. It says underneath it's a buy it now. And if we scroll down, we can see some other books, a 4.5 for $3,100. Now, the thing to remember is these are prices that people are asking for. This is not what the book has sold for. And there are two types of sales on eBay. There's a buy it now, in which somebody lists a book for like $1,550, and if somebody offers them $1,550, then boom, it's sold. There are also auctions. Now, we're going here. We have the slab copy, a graded copy of a 6.5, and down below it, a 3.0 restored. Restored is a whole other subject matter. And they're asking $1,840 for it. There are some raw books interspersed here as well. And if we continue to go down, there are things that are not this comic book. There are some displays. There are reprints. And other things, like right here, we have a repro cover for $50. We have a reprint, Silver Age Classics. So the pure silver foil. So there are a lot of different things here. What you don't want to do is use these listings to price your comic books. This, again, is what people are asking for. You want to use the sold listing. So if we go down on the side here and click on sold items, you'll see the items that have sold with prices in green. That's the price they've sold for. Now here, we have one that's sold at auction for $859. And it says key issue for Supergirl complete. That's kind of a useful item to look at. It was an auction because there are 10 bids. So that gives you a pretty good idea. Now, you could also take a look at the listing here and check out the pictures. See how it matches up to your own book. And I actually, if we look at this listing, and don't do something wrong, there we go. This book is in rougher shape, I believe, than the book I have in my possession, because it is taped together. There are a lot of creases on the cover. The back cover is a little bit messy. And it's still an $859 book, so that's kind of a good baseline to set for the value of the book. That's a raw copy. You can go and see, now here when the number is struck out, that means that they asked for $1,200 and it sold for less than that. Or this one, in its 0.5 CBCS, they asked for $600 and somebody offered them less and they accepted that offer. Here a 3.0 sold for $1,700. Here's a reprint. I'm more interested in raw books because it's easier to pinpoint the sales price of a graded book, because you take the grading out of the equation. Here's a 5.5 that sold at auction for $2,300. Another one with no back cover that sold for $350. So all of this information is useful, and if you can kind of look at the pictures and see where yours might fall. Now, another part of the thing is that new sellers don't understand is how to search on eBay, what to look for. And one of the things that's important is to find, if we're looking at a book, I'm going to take this copy of X-Men 130. Okay. Now, the cover gives us information, says the Uncanny X-Men, but what you're really looking for, for most books, some of the modern books is a little bit tougher to find because they put it in different places. You're looking for this information down in the bottom of the first page that lists the title, the volume number, the issue number, and the month and date of release. In Marvel Comics from the 70s earlier, you have to hunt a little bit more. This is referred to as the indicia. That is the correct pronunciation. I looked it up before I did this video. Indicia. So that gives you a lot of the information rather than trying to get it just from the cover. So you see there is X-Men 130 from February of 1980. That gives you more information to go to your eBay sold listings. And there's a big difference also between a graded book and a raw book. What do we mean? A graded book is a book that has been encapsulated by a grading company, PGX, CBCS. The most prevalent third-party grader in comic books is CGC, and you'll see that the book will be encapsulated. You can no longer have access to the book. It gives you a numerical grade between 0.5 and 10, although 9.9 and 10 are extremely rare. Your books are not in that condition. And the only way, in terms of advertising, that you can say a book is an 8.5 for sure is if it has been graded by a third-party grader. If you say it's an 8.5, that's an opinion. You can use that kind of as a guide, but it's not official until it has been graded by CGC. And a lot of new sellers are optimistic about the condition of their books. The next thing is condition. What are you looking for in books? High-grade books, 9s or better, look like they just came off the newsstand. There are minimal creases, stains, color bending, what we call spine ticks, which are marks on the spine where the spine has been bent. Anything that breaks the color of the cover or permanently damages the fiber of the paper is going to be a more serious deduction. It has to really look fresh and clean to be a high-grade copy. The corners have to be sharp. The edges have to be sharp. The book has to be complete. And it should be relatively clean. Anything, big creases, stains, are going to decrease the value of the book. If there is some spine wear, some kind of yellowing or tanning due to age, some creasing, now you're talking about a mid-grade book. And if the book is in rough shape, if the staples are loose, if there's anything missing, like this book, right? You see this, I'll use this. This is a low-grade book. I haven't graded it specifically, but there's creasing. You can see white lines here and here going up the book. In the bottom corner here, there's a little piece missing and another piece missing here. You can see there's wear to the spine. There's color that is no longer on the cover that's kind of worn off. This is a lower grade copy. rust at the staples, all those sorts of things will downgrade the value of the book. And you have to do it's best to do something called dirty grading. Is it high grade? Is it mid grade? Like it looks like it's been used, or is it low grade? And if it's missing anything, that's an entirely different conversation. Newer books, you look for them in high grade. And newer books are easier to find on eBay sold because there are quite a few of them. Books from the last, let's say, 20 or even 40 years. Once you start going into the 1970s, 1960s, and earlier, the books are harder to find. So for people who do a lot of research and pricing of books, there are services out there that can be used. There's Cover Price. There's Key Collector, which is less of a pricing app, but it does have pricing information. There's GPA Analysis. All of those are good resources, and you should research what might work best for you, and if you want to subscribe to the service, if it's going to be useful for you. Are you just pricing a handful of comics, that you found in an attic and you want to sell? Or do you have a large collection, maybe from your childhood, of hundreds or even thousands of books that you might be looking to sell at a strong rate? Because when you sell your books, you want to know what they are worth. And books that are worth, I would say, under $20 are a little bit harder to sell unless you have an outlet to sell them. Like you're going to start an eBay store, and you do have to be patient for those things to be bought. If you have higher priced items, those could move more quickly. And then the last thing is, do you want to get them graded? And that's a whole other topic in terms of how is best to sell your collection. This video is more on how to estimate the value. eBay sold is probably the quickest, easiest, and most economically advantageous, it's free, possibility of determining the value of any comics that you might come across. Now, you do have to be careful with Marvel Comics. Over the last 10 or 20 years, they have multiple volumes. They kind of restart with number ones every several years with a lot of these characters. So let's say a character like Moon Knight, there are several issue number ones of Moon Knight. So you have to determine which one it is. And you also have to determine if it is a variant cover. That can be a little bit tricky because, again, look at the indicia, see what year and month it's from, and that can help in finding the information that you need. One of the things with variant covers is some of them can be a little more rare and harder to find even on eBay sold. Older books, it can be harder to find books in a specific grade. But if you have a general idea of the title and issue number of the book, and maybe as a plus, the year in which it was published, you can do an eBay search and at least try to get a range of the prices of the books. What does it sell for in high grade, in mid grade, and in low grade? What are the recent sales of that book? And you can also use that opportunity to look at the eBay sold listings to look at the pictures of the book and compare your book to pictures to see, is my book a high-grade book, a mid-grade book, or a low-grade book? You don't have to be as specific as saying, knowing the difference between a 3.5 and a 4.5 in a CGC grading system, but to have an idea of where it is. As with anything else, the more time and research you put in, the more of a benefit you're going to get. But it does take a considerable amount of time to acquire the expertise to be able to grade books accurately, price them accurately, and know exactly what you're looking at. So the other possibility is to reach out to a professional. Your local comic book store could give you an idea of the value, although if they're looking to buy the books, they might downplay it. If they're willing to consign the books, it's to their benefit to get the maximum value for those books. Even go to a local comic show if there's one in your area and talk to some of the vendors there. Because there are multiple vendors, even talk to some of the people that are buying the books. They might have an idea. try to get people who have more expertise than you do. So, in conclusion, the easiest way to get an approximate value of the book that you have is an eBay sold listing. Understand the approximate condition of the book. Does it look new? Does it look used? Does it look really worn? And use those eBay. Don't use the current eBay listings, because those listings can sometimes be really out of whack. Look at the sold listings. Get an idea of the range of those values, and that can give you a pretty good idea of what your comic book is worth. So good luck with trying to go through the books that you have in front of you. And this is Jim saying until next time. Oh, by the way, let's again. So we are selling every Monday night at 10 p.m. on Whatnot. I am going to try to, as I get more followers, get some more focused sales in terms of titles. So in the meantime, take a look at a couple of recent videos. I'm not sure where I put them. They're around here somewhere. And join us on Thursday at 10 o'clock for another video. This is Jim saying until next time, enjoy your comics.